Hello again, I am Blunty. This video is brought to you by HP and NVIDIA. Behind me there is their collaborative effort, the HP OMEN X2S. It throbs with the raw power of NVIDIA's RTX graphics and they call it a studio laptop. Well, guess why? Too slow, it's because it's designed for creatives to get creative stuff done, because we usually work in what we like to call a studio, even though this is just the corner of my apartment. And today I'm hoping that you're interested in trying something creative to do between the work from home stuff we're all digging into right now and the playing at home stuff that we do anyway on our wonderful gaming laptops and such, but something much more creative that mixes the power of the tool we use to get that stuff done, but mixes in some classic old school Hollywood fun too. I am of course talking about stop motion animation. Hello, subscribed yet? Stop motion animation, one of my own personal first loves when it came to finding a creative outlet, and in fact how I got my start in doing this online video creative guy thing. And the fantastic thing about stop motion animation is it is both fulfillingly creative, easy to learn, hard to master, and just a joy from end to end. And if you've gone ahead and taken it upon yourself to expand the human race, something fun to do with the kids that doesn't involve you learning Fortnite dances. So my gentle and friendly viewer, I give to you my top 7 tips for getting started in stop motion animation. But this is a sponsored video, so first we have to take a quick tour about the hardware around there that we're going to be doing this with. Among the things this powerful OMEN X2S RTX Studio Laptop enables are being able to edit video in up to 6K in real time, power enough for fancy 3D modeling and animating, with ray tracing. The RTX 2060 graphics card alongside the Intel Core i7 CPU gives 1440p gaming a big old wallop, and if you're like me, you may even want to stream your gameplay time to an audience and share it with them that way. And if that's the case, plenty of power for that back there too. And you may have spotted the party piece down there, a secondary touchscreen, a laptop with 2 screens, and if you've ever worked with a secondary screen, either for work stuff or as a gamer or even a streamer, I don't have to tell you how handy it can be. But I'm gonna tell you in case you don't know. They're very handy. So, stop motion animation, as I said, one of my very own first loves as a creative outlet, and in fact how I got started in this online video content production stuff to begin with. It goes so far back that YouTube wasn't even invented back then. So here's your top tips, starting with the software, and here's the good news, it's all free. Stopmotion is a simple but well-featured application made specifically for stop motion, and in fact one of the pieces of software that does indeed go all the way back to my own pre-YouTube days when I was doing Lego stop motion little mini films. It's simple to set up. You simply start a new project, select the camera you're using, set the resolution you want to record at. I'd recommend 1080p with MJPEG image compression, makes things nice and easy. For editing, you can use the output files from Stopmotion with any video editor you like. They are standard video files, but I quite like DaVinci Resolve. The free version is very powerful. Its learning curve can be a bit hard if you're brand new to video editing, but there's lots and lots of guides and tutorials around for it, and it's well worth learning. On the hardware side of things, your camera can be anything from a regular old web camera to a mirrorless camera or a DSLR or a pocket cam. But for those fancier options, you'll also need a video capture device to pull in their live feed from the HDMI output into your computer. Web camera is the easier, cheaper option, but using a real camera is going to get you crisper results. When I made my animated films, I used Lego as my subject. You can literally animate any object, like literally anything. But toys like Lego and action figures are especially good choices as they're small and easy to work with. Claymation is a classic, of course, but between the clay's tendency to move under its own weight and dealing with your own fingerprints when moving it between frames and things like that, hard plastic toys do make life a lot easier, especially while learning. You'll also need some small lights. The little LED video panel lights you can get are very, very affordable these days and are very easy to work with. They're small, compact, easy to work with on the little sets like the Lego we're using, and they run nice and cool as well. You want a mini tripod or two to set up the camera and the lights, and of course a nice flat desk or work table to work at. Once you've got your little mini studio set up, your sets built and your characters ready and lit, you can start. Stopmotion is pretty intuitive. Just click the large camera button to turn on the live image feed, set your camera up for your desired composition, fix focus, exposure, all that sort of stuff if you need to, and hit the record button to take a frame. This is also set up as a nice easy to slap shortcut using the spacebar. Take your first shot, then make a small movement of your character. Take the next shot, frame by frame, tiny movements at a time. You'll start to stack up images that when played in sequence give the illusion of motion. Stopmotion also gives you a ghost of the previous images overlaid on the live feed. This is called onion skinning. You can adjust how much of this is shown, but it'll help you see what has changed between frames and how far you've moved things. At first, I highly recommend you don't even worry about a script or even audio. Just start with a few simple trial runs of simple stuff like just moving objects across the scene, drive a car by, have a little wave, test a walk cycle. Get a feel for how things move, how much you need to move them to make certain motions at certain speeds. Experiment a bit. Once you're done, you can go to File, Export, Video, and generate a video file. You can then use this in your video editor of choice, set it to music, add dialogue, sound effects, credits. So there you are. That's the basics. That's the basic tools you need to get up and running. I told you it was simple, didn't I? But here's some top tips for getting consistent and good results. Number 1, control your lighting. Because you're taking single frames of video, one at a time, sometimes minutes apart depending on how complicated you're getting with your animation, any lighting changes, like from the sun moving outside through a window or the TV in the room, can make your final edit look all flickery and disastrous. Quite a lot of budding stop-motion animations learn this lesson the hard way. As did I. So make sure your curtains are drawn. The only lights in the room are the ones on your set. Don't place a light behind you because obviously you're moving around between the set and your computer taking the frames, and sometimes your shadow might be in a different spot. So just light the set in a nice darkened out room. And another lesson I learnt the hard way: face the screen of your laptop, especially when it's a screen as glorious and bright and vivid as the one on the HP OMEN laptop back there. It's a sponsored video. Because even the light from your screen can reflect onto the set, even at odd angles, and sort of subtly change your lighting and color cast and things like that, and it can kind of ruin a shot. Another lesson I learned the hard way: if you are doing something like I'm doing back there with Lego, tape down the base plate, tape down your set, because if you accidentally bump it, you hit the table with your hip or something and it just moves just a millimeter. Trust me, even tiny bumps of your set can make a huge difference in the final result. And the same goes for your cameras and lights. Secure them down. Tape them down if you can. If you've got them on a tripod, weight the tripod down or tape it to the desk if you're using a mini tripod. Do whatever you can to make sure that camera does not move between shots. Don't touch the camera if you can avoid it. But if you do accidentally bump something, the onion skinning feature in Stopmotion I told you about before can be a really good tool for realigning things. So you can see the ghost of the last image you took and where your set's sitting at now, so you can just sort of nudge it back into place. It's difficult to get it exact, but you can usually get it close enough so it doesn't look like the whole thing's gone. And lastly, if you are making a film with dialogue, script it, record it, edit it all first. That way you can get the timing of everything, so you can refer to your audio timeline in your video editor to tell how long a certain piece of dialogue is supposed to take, and when a scene changes, and when someone else's turn to talk, and what the language is. If they're speaking excitedly or they're being soft, you can adjust that to your body language of how you're animating things. Because even if you're not going the sort of super fancy route and trying to animate actual mouths to dialogue, just having the body language match your dialogue can go a long way into making your characters feel sort of real. So, many thanks to HP and NVIDIA for sponsoring this video and giving me a chance to play with the X2S back there. I wasn't kidding when I was praising the machine. The screens are amazing. And aside from what the RTX card can do to gaming, NVIDIA also have their special, what they call their studio drivers, which are specifically optimized for supercharging your favorite creative applications. Like, of course, video editing. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been interesting, insightful, inspiring, perhaps. Thank you as always to the patrons up above. Thank you again to the sponsors of this video. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Please make sure you do all the things with the bell and subscribe and whatnot.